Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Age and Evolution Show. So today, what I'd like to talk with you about is being uncomfortable and surrender. So basically, the idea for this video came from, I made another post about my ice bath and my morning ritual. And every time I post a picture of that, I get questions from people of, why do you do the cold plunge? Why do you do an ice bath? And so I'd like to answer that. And here goes. Basically, whenever I take an ice bath or a cold plunge, whatever the source is, and it's part of my daily ritual that I sincerely enjoy. But here's the thing. Every single time I get in the ice bath, it's uncomfortable. And I've been doing this now for, probably 10, 11 months. And I'm going to say that it's not necessarily getting easier. Every time I get in, it's cold. It's really cold. And here's the value of it, though. So, if you Google cold therapy, there's a tremendous amount of health benefits for your body. So that's true. That's factual. I love all of that. But that's not the reason I do it. That's just an added benefit. The reason I do the ice bath, and I'm so ritualistic about it, is this. Every day, I need to overcome something. And let me rephrase that. My apologies. I get to overcome the uncomfortableness. So when I get in the water and it's cold, it takes me a minute. It takes me a minute to catch my breath. It takes me a minute to just relax and be with the cold. So here's the value. What other areas in your life are things uncomfortable, and because they're uncomfortable, you choose not to engage in them? So take, for instance, an ice bath. To go through that process of being uncomfortable, go through sometimes the pain, the shortness of breath, it's just cold, right? But when you can learn to just surrender to that, there's something magical on the other end of that. Now, let me talk about surrender. I'm not talking about like in a time of war when somebody concedes victory and somebody has to surrender. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, this kind of surrender, is to just accept what is. I mean, where else in your life are there maybe conditions, circumstances that just are, and it's time to surrender to the fact? And again, not in a sense of giving up. That's not the essence, but just acceptance. Because when you can accept it, then you can tap into that place within you, that power, and become responsible and change whatever needs to be changed. So when you continue to fight the resistance, let's say the ice bath, and you get in it and you're just resistant to what is, it's going to be even more painful. The process is going to take more time, and it's just not going to be enjoyable. Yet when you can get in there, realize it's uncomfortable, surrender to what is, now on the other end of that is something magical. And it's inner peace, it's more love, unconditionally, joy and abundance. And I'll tell you, it's just a way to really connect with yourself and check in with what your emotional state is, what your thought process is, what's driving your state of beingness. So when you can put yourself into an uncomfortable situation, surrender to what is, on the other end of that is a lot of inner peace. So the cold plunge is just my way of surrendering to what is and allowing myself to come out the other end of that with more inner peace and just a healthier emotional state. And if I can start my day surrendering to something that's uncomfortable, what then can I go do in my business that's uncomfortable, but I can surrender to it? And that is how I produce bigger, better results that I desire. And Carmen Lance, if you're watching this, you posted something about someone that just broke a world record for some triathlon or something of that nature. I'm probably butchering this to death. But you posted a quote, and it said, basically, people that are undisciplined become a slave to their mood and their passions. And that just resonated so much with me. Because as someone that coaches agents daily, I see so many people fighting to stay comfortable, resisting being uncomfortable. And I gotta tell you, like, on the other end of that uncomfortableness, once you surrender to what is the life you desire. So it's a practice, it's a muscle you develop. And so people ask me, why do you do a cold plunge? And my question to that is, why don't you? Like, what's the value of being so undisciplined? What's the value of not being willing to be uncomfortable with something? What's the value of not really willing to put yourself in the thick of things, surrender to what is, and finding inner peace there? Because if you can do it in a bathtub full of ice water, you'll do it in your business. You'll do it in your marriage. You'll do it with your kids. It matters. It matters everywhere. So, that just, I hope, answers the question on why do I do a cold plunge. So I hope to see a picture of your cold plunge soon. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, who you surround yourself with matters. Do you surround yourself with people that take cold plunges, or people that resist being uncomfortable? Just something to notice. Thanks so much for watching. Make it a great